What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and I have a really exciting, aggressive Viking Tribal War deck to help you take down all those magic decks currently floating around in the weekend ranked meta. I'm going to do a deck guide, and then of course I'm going to play a match so you can see how it does. Alright, so this is one of the most fun decks I think I have ever put together, and I'm really excited for you to see it. But of course, you can't play a deck like this unless you've already downloaded Gods Unchained. So if you haven't done that yet, check the link in the description of this video, because when you use it, you'll get some free packs which will help you get started. Alright, let's take a look at this deck. As you can see, the mana curve is very aggressive, and we're trying to get underneath the magic decks at first, and then try to burn them out with Slayer. I want to show you something. Let's go to the meta for the last 3 days, and this is currently over weekend ranked, so a lot of these decks are in the current weekend ranked meta. At the number 1 slot we have Magic, also at the number 2 slot and the 3 slot. Finally at the 4 slot we do have a war deck, a war archetype I should say, and then at 5 and 6 we also have Magic. We've got card draw magic, clone magic, spell damage magic, form of unity magic, and ether magic. So currently magic is taking up like the entire top of the meta. That's usually a really unhealthy thing. However, you can take advantage of this if you know what to look for. And well, taking a look at aggro war here, doing well against some of these other magic decks gave me a thought. I would like to take down the magic decks with a war deck. But since war tends to use certain cards like Warmonger Smith and some big top end cards, I wanted to put together a war deck that was also going to beat the other war decks. And I also noticed something. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the meta page here, but there is quite a bit of Deception Order running around right now too. I think they're doing pretty well against some of these magic decks. So I want a deck that's going to basically do everything against them, and that's what we have with this list here. So let me go through it. Now first of all, in one of my summon videos, my pack open videos, I opened Battle Bard a long time ago, and it's a card that I absolutely loved and wanted to find some use for, and I finally have. This deck is full of Vikings, so finally this special matters. Roar, give a friendly Viking +2 strength. I may only have one creature in the entire deck that's not a Viking, so let's go through all of these so you can see it. At the 1 mana spot, of course, we have Boil Blood Outlaw as well. That one's pretty self-explanatory. We see it in a lot of decks, as well as Vanguard Axewoman, and Shield Maiden in this particular deck has a lot of synergy because of the Viking strategy. Since it's tribal, anything that affects Vikings is going to make Shield Maiden even better. This is an underrated card in this style of deck, and you'll see that probably in some of my playthroughs. We also have Master Tactician. So this is one of the cards that's not really making this a budget deck, but it's also not super expensive, so it's affordable if you have the pieces for it. But this guy can come down early in the game and be a nightmare for magic decks because he's protected right away, but also at the end of the game if you can keep some creatures sticking out there, normally against some other decks that have creatures, to give them flank until end of turn, get around and get that last bit of damage in. Enduring Shield, always a winner in this deck. However, we're not going with the Warmonger Smith in this deck to go with Enduring Shield, and we're only going with 1 Blade of Sticks here. The reason being, I want more creatures in this deck. This is what's going to help me out aggressive the other war decks, is because I need to be able to remove every creature on their side of the board so they cannot use their top end spells to win. Basically, I want a bunch of cheaper creatures in this deck to win in the mirror match. That's my goal with that. But also, if I have a ton of creatures, it's hard on the magic deck that's trying to keep up with getting rid of stuff. So I do want this repeated theme of having protection, like you see with the Enduring Shield and the Master Tactician. You're going to see it on a few other cards as well. But like I said, there's 1 Blade of Sticks in here. I don't want too many relics, but I do have another relic through the Valk's Captain, who is also a Viking. And when it comes down, if you're frenzied, which you typically are in an aggressive deck like this, it gets +1 strength on the relic, but this is also a 3/2 creature that you can oftentimes give protected to with Enduring Shield or find other ways to protect it. Quite honestly, it works really well with the Shield Maiden too. Some of these creatures you want to like try and keep alive after you drop them. For example, Boilblood Outlaw does really well with Shield Maiden. So you can grow it without them necessarily killing it if you're against a creature deck. But they might if you're against the magic deck. It just depends. All right, but we also here have Thunder Caller. This is awesome, again, with the Viking theme. If you're frenzied, give +1/+1 to your strongest Viking. Sometimes that's Thunder Caller. Sometimes that's another creature. You know, if you use some of the pump spells to grow some of your other little creatures, well, it will give that +1/+1. It becomes even harder for your opponent to take care of, and it deals more damage. Odie is just absolutely an amazing card. Should be in this deck, especially because he's a Viking. Reduces the mana of your cards, so you become even faster. Raid Reveler, again, another one that's awesome in this deck because it's a 3/2 with protected. Viking Longship, huge in this deck. Coming out with Blitz, giving other friendly creatures flank so that you can get around really difficult creatures. This gives you the top end to get around something like Frontline, or if you need to deal with a difficult like backline type of creature, which is really, really good. We have Tamed Mammoth. So after a friendly creature takes damage, this creature gets +1 strength because it's Viking. You get the benefits of all the other Viking cards. Archangel Bruiser is the only one in here that is not a Viking, and I wanted to really try and limit the non-Viking creatures that I have. But I think this one works well because, like I said, you're often frenzied because of how aggressive this is. So you can often give overkill to this creature, take care of their board, or, you know, deal damage to another creature that then deals damage to the god. You know, any number of circumstances like this that really helps you control the board while still dealing damage, which I think is important in a deck like this. And as long as it's the only non-Viking creature, I think it's going to be okay. But this deck really needed more removal, and this is one way to do it. Red Fume Serum is just awesome. You see these in these war decks. +5/+5 on a creature is amazing. And then Overproof Brew is one that I added to this deck. Deal 1 damage to each creature and then give +2 strength and protected to each of your creatures. Since we have a lot of creatures, this acts both as a removal and as a tribal growth spell, oftentimes allowing you to put in the last little bits of damage or take care of the rest of the board or whatever you need to do. And then, of course, Soul Survivor, probably one of the best, if not the best card in this deck. Give +3 strength to one of your creatures, then deal its strength as damage to each other creature. Again, allowing you to control the board in case they're a creature deck that's starting to go wide. Definitely very useful against the other war decks, allowing you to outmaneuver them. Yeah, so what you're going to notice with this particular deck then, just overall, I went into the details of some of the cards. What it's trying to do is go small at the beginning and then over the top at the end. If you don't have quite enough, you should be close enough to having their life down to Slayer the rest of the way. You know, take 3, 4, 5 turns to just kill them off. And that, I think, is going to work really well against the Magic decks. Yeah, we don't have any of the big creatures that you're going to sometimes see in the other war decks here. That's just one of the big, I think, improvements against the mirror match, and is also going to work against Magic. You just have to hope to stick a creature down so that these last bits here can push you the rest of the way through. All right, well, without further ado, let's dive in and see how it does. All right. Let's just try to get like a 1-drop or something. Jeez Louise. I guess we'll go with that.
Godspeed. Brace yourself. Get ready.
We could go with both Tavern Brawler and Vanguard Axewoman. And I think that's probably the way to do it. Let's do it this way. Yeah, whatever. All right. Lots of burn damage. I know magic is like the top tier right now. Well, alright. Running out of creatures.
At last. I value my personal space beyond all else.
I hope I just have one creature alive for my next turn. Would love to be able to Soul Survivor. Even if he doesn't have creatures on board, which, I mean, I would love for him to put a creature out right now, but this deck doesn't have too many of them. Got a lot of cards in hand though, my gosh. Interesting. Alright, so this turn I want to make sure I do this right. Because I can Soul Survivor that. We want to get that 2 damage in first. Maybe we take this away from my opponent. Or maybe I don't care. Because he can just use this Mage Bolt as much as he wants anyway. Which he's absolutely going to do here.
Let's see how they respond. Let's see if I can find some order in this chaos.
I'm sure he has burn spells to kill this. Yeah.
Get ready. I've already let them squirm for a while.
Let's just hope they don't have life gain. 4 turns and I can kill them. He's gonna let me draw a card. I feel like he doesn't want me to draw cards, but that's fine. Let's see. If I do 4, 2, 6, 8, 2.
I can't do that.
Yeah, let's go with this.
I'm running out of time.
Just to try and have some creatures on board. Sure, he has the board wipe, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Get ready.
So we could do 4, a 1, 2, 1. Yeah, let's go with this.
I've given my orders.
And just hope they can't gain life. Nice. So yeah, as you can see, this is a really fun deck built for the meta. If you haven't already, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and hitting that bell notification so you know when I drop new videos or go live, and I will catch you in the next one.